Hello, sisters. Welcome to the Sacred Medicine Podcast, weaving powerful, soulful practices into functional medicine. Step into this beautiful space of devotion and explore everything from nurturing foods, rituals, sexuality, and awakening your innate sensuality. It is time to own your radiance. This is the Sacred Medicine Podcast. Welcome back to another week of the Sacred Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Margaret Romero, and this week I have something so sexy for you. And I have Pamela Madsen. She is the author of Shameless, and she is also the founder of Back to the Body. So we talk intimately about what happens at her retreats and her events, which I have been so very intrigued by it because I've got several friends who have experienced it, who have gone on her retreats. She's got this beautiful retreat coming up in Iceland, and which I unfortunately am not going to. But we talk all about her approach, and I wanted to know how different her approach was compared to Orgasmic Meditation and things like that. So we do talk about her differences and how she approaches and helps women to open up their sexuality and sensuality. And we just talk about arousal so much in this episode. So stay tuned, hang on to your seats, and on to the show. And this week's guest is Pamela Madsen. She is the author of Shameless, How I Ditched the Diet, Got Naked, Found True Pleasure, and Somehow Got Home in Time to Cook Dinner. Welcome, Pamela. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I love having conversations with exciting, delicious women.
Well, thank you. So I had Pamela on a yacht in New York City a few weeks ago.
Oh, it's such a tough life, Margaret. Oh, there we were on a yacht in New York City, cruising the Hudson River.
It was really
fun. We happened to exchange glasses across the bow and immediately started to talk about women's vaginas.
Yes. I had a major question and you answered it beautifully. So thank you for that. And so I have heard so much about you, especially from a mutual friend of ours who I love so dearly. And she has just been raving and raving about you and has attended the majority of your workshops. And it was just kismet that you were on that boat. I didn't know you were going to be there. And for us to have met, and I just wanted to have you on the podcast because I think what you're doing, the work that you do, is so vital and it's so important. And I think a lot of women are missing the thing that you are just a genius at.
Well, thank you. So the thing, right? So what the thing is
Tell us
that
the thing.
We have a lot of really exquisite leaders in the female empowerment movement, and pretend I'm putting little finger quotes around female empowerment movement. There's lots of really exquisite, powerful women who are opening doors for women around their sexuality and embodiment, the idea of embodiment. And I think what is striking and different about what the offering is that it's somatic. It's through the body. The tools that are being offered to women is not about the most exquisite, explosive, extraordinary orgasm of your life, or how to have female ejaculation in rainbow colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's mostly what we get. We get, women screaming pussy, vulva, vagina, jumping up and down in their naughtiness, right? I can say pussy. Well, fuck yeah. And that's a lot for a lot of women.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
Margaret? It's
Totally.
a lot. And yes. And sure, you want whatever you think she's having.
Right.
Right? What we're doing at Back to the Body is about actually connecting the thoughts, the words to our actual physical body. And removing the goalposts of what women think they're supposed to be having, and actually introducing them with real life tools in their real life body about what it is that they could be having with their body and actually letting them experience it.
Wow. Amazing.
And it's really gorgeous work. And we do something that's unheard of. It's a women's retreat, and there are, oh my God, men there. And and that always confuses people. Like, well, why do you have men at a women's retreat? Like, why wouldn't you have men at a women's retreat? Is usually my answer. It's a women's sexuality retreat. And most of the women that come to my workshops, and they're not workshops, really. They're retreats. They're immersions. Most of the people that come are either straight or bisexual and are healing not only their relationships with themselves and their bodies and their sexuality, but also their relationships with a healthy masculine. And so I work primarily with male practitioners. Though I am a female practitioner, and I have female practitioners on staff. We have male practitioners. And we've been doing this for 7 years now. It's kind of like, Margaret, when people say, oh, he was an overnight success, right?
Right.
Actually, I've been at this close to a decade now. And the men have been with me and are growing. And what's also different is how we're supporting women back to their bodies. So a lot of people are starting to become familiar with some tools that women are offered, such as oming, orgasmic meditation.
Yes.
Where a woman lays on her back and her clitoris is stroked in the 1 o'clock position while she is butterflied and on her back. And some people are introduced to various tantric experience, which is very focused on what they call sacred spot. Are you with me, Margaret? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this question, Margaret. In these two practices, which are great practices, I'm not knocking them.
Right.
But we're talking about why is what is happening at Back to the Body knocking women off their socks, right? Like, why is this becoming, oh my God, do you know about this? So here's the question, Margaret. Where is the woman in an oming session or in a tantric sacred spot session? Where's her body?
I mean, during an oming, which I haven't personally experienced it, I've witnessed it being done. It's right there. I mean, usually they're naked from the waist down, having this experience.
Right. What's her position?
She's on her back.
She's on her back.
Yeah.
Does she get on her hands and knees?
I've never seen that. No.
No. Have you ever seen her on her belly?
No.
So when you've witnessed oming, she's prone.
Yes.
Her legs are butterflied.
Right.
She's receiving.
Yes.
She's being done to.
Right.
Got it. In Tantra, in sacred spot, have you ever seen that being practiced?
No, actually.
So I'll tell you about it, honey.
Okay.
So they warm the woman up, a little massage.
Yeah.
And then they put on their goggles and they go in. What position do you imagine that woman's in?
I'm assuming she's on her back as well.
Ah, she's on her back. Right. And she's in control of the game, or do you think that she's most likely receiving?
Most likely receiving.
Most likely receiving.
Yeah.
Okay. Check, check. So all that's well and good. But how does that support a woman in empowering herself in her own eroticism? How does that support her in taking control and owning her desires? How does that support a woman in dancing in her arousal? How does that support a woman in claiming her body? So when we do our sessions, a woman, we work on a massage table. It's one-way touch. The men are clothed. But the session, what a woman is experiencing is sort of like a free-form dance. So yes, she's receiving. And yes, there's passive receiving, but there's active receiving, where a woman is able to learns to move in her arousal, learns to literally, Margaret, dance in her orgasm. And that's what's knocking women off their socks. There's all this talk about female empowerment and women owning their sexuality. But when we get down to it, what we offer them tend to be tools and experiences where they're prone in receiving.
And how are they? Okay, so they're receiving, and you're. I'm assuming that they're not only on their back then.
At back to the body?
Right.
No, they're not only on their back.
Okay.
So they go where they want to go.
Okay.
So, and they're encouraged, and the practitioner follows and leads and follows and leads, and it's a dance.
I see. Okay.
And she can, there's music playing. Have you ever done an S-Factor pole dance?
Yes.
Imagine that in orgasm.
Okay.
Are you ready, Margaret? So imagine the possibility of having the most Epicurean, exquisite. Okay, I'm going to make you a giggle. So a woman who just this moment, who's a well-known sex educator, just posted on my timeline in Facebook. So if anyone wants to follow me, I'm Pamela Madsen on Facebook with a little blue verified check. You can find me. She just posted, she's a well-known sex educator from the West Coast. And she was recently at my retreat in NOLA. And she was talking to her husband, and he said, "So you're being professionally diddled for 5 days." And I said, "No, honey, you're not just being professionally diddled. You're being Epicurean. It's Epicurean diddling."
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
It's 5-star diddling. All right? So imagine 5-star touch, full body, erotic touch, where all that's expected of the woman is to own her pleasure, to open and yes, receive, but not like just having to be passive and flat. Okay.
Okay.
So she wants to get on her knees and experience movement in her arousal and her orgasm and her ejaculation. She wants to get on her fours. If she wants to go into downward dog, if she wants to bend over a table, if she wants to run around the table,
right,
and dance, all that is welcome. And you know what? It takes a lot of vulnerability, not just for our women, our clients, but also our practitioners. You have to have very well trained practitioners who have exquisite boundaries.
Exactly.
And who know how to hold all kinds of women. We have women who are 20. We have women who are in their 70s. We have women who've had abuse and who've had trauma, birth trauma, who've had various forms of medical and sexual trauma. And we have some of the most well-known sex educators who come to work their stuff. And so you have to have a very special practitioner who's able to hold these kinds of women, all these women, right?
Right.
And we have them because they've been incredibly well vetted and supported and trained. And not everyone can do this work. But I believe every woman can receive it.
And have you ever encountered women who maybe come and they say, you know what? I've never really experienced true orgasm. I don't know what that's like. Are you able, I know every woman's body is capable of having an orgasm and having different types of orgasms. Are you able during these 5 days or however long your retreats are to help women get there? Or do you know what I mean? Is it that easy? Is it that simple?
Behind with trained hands. Yes. Right. So we have that mutual friend of ours who's been doing this kind of various forms of this kind of work for God knows how many years. Never had a female ejaculation before. And she has now. Nor was that the goal.
Right.
But she was so warm. You know, what women don't really have, Margaret, is arousal. And so what we really do is we warm up that flower. And we do 2 demos. One, that all they're seeing is arousal. It's me on the table. They get to see it live.
Okay.
All right. Before they get on the table. Super safe. They're in sisterhood. They're being held in a beautiful container of sisterhood and incredible stewards. And they get to watch.
Okay.
What are we talking about here? Right?
Okay.
Because again, talking heads and screaming, you know, all this shit is different than actually doing it in your body. Right? So I can tell you about arousal and I can tell you about erotic trance state and I can tell you about what's possible. But until you have it in your body, it's a concept. Can you believe that?
Yes.
So, okay. So it's like telling someone who's never had Thai food and has only eaten a hamburger what Thai food is like until they actually have Thai food. They don't really know it.
Right. Right.
All right. So we have all these women who have had all kinds of gourmet hamburgers showing up. Right? And they can tell you, I've had hamburger with avocado. Mm-hmm. I've had hamburger with avocado and bacon, and it was vegan and gluten-free. Right? So they've had all these experiences. But what most of them have never had is 90 minutes of arousal. For arousal. Most of them have had the kind of female sexuality that is served, which is how quickly can I get her wet?
Now, do you mean arousal as in foreplay?
Yes, and it's a whole meal.
Okay.
So, yes, we treat arousal as foreplay. I'm telling you, it's a meal. I'm telling you that an hour of arousal, you will feel like you have been fucked by a sex god from one side of the room to another. That you leave the table with your hair tossed. You will climb out of the room and ask me to catch you. And you have not have had a climax or sacred spot ejaculation. You will have arousal. Women are not served arousal. So for women to have really true full body orgasm, for women to ejaculate in rainbow colors, she must be fully aroused. And I'm not talking about going at your pussy with a magic wand because you need stress release and you have 3 minutes.
Right.
And how many climaxes can you wipe off? Which, by the way, is important, and I do that. Okay? It's a different deal, Margaret.
That's all women have time for, to be honest.
Right. And it's all given. And so maybe if they have a partner, they'll have some licky. Right?
Right.
They'll have whatever they can have. And maybe that will last 5 minutes.
Right.
And they're worried that they're taking too long the entire time. And if they're going to have a climax.
Right. I know. That's always the thing.
So what is knocking women off their socks? 90 minutes of arousal. an hour of arousal, learning the different stages of their own arousal, seeing what their pussy looks like before arousal and fully aroused. It looks completely different, Margaret.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, when the blood is fully engorged in your pussy, your internal clitoris, your external clitoris, your inner and outer labia, the colors are different. The size of your genitals are different. Take a fully, beautifully aroused vulva and then take it past that level of extraordinary arousal. And then you can show her orgasm.
Right.
And
right.
then you can show her ejaculation. Take away the fear of taking too long. Take away this idea that she has 15 fucking minutes.
Right.
Like, really? I have 15 minutes to touch the sun? I don't know. I take longer to eat that burger with avocado and bacon. And you want me to have this like intensely extraordinary experience? You want me to ejaculate for you, buddy? I mean, can I use the F-bomb again?
Of course.
Fuck you. Like, fuck you for putting that on women.
No, it's so true. You're so true.
So I'm done with that shit. I'm in my 50s. I'm over it. I've had it. And I know that there's something more. And I'm seeing it. And we've done over 90, and I also believe in immersion, Margaret, that you can't expect a woman to put all her eggs in one basket in one day. You know, I used to be the leading advocate of fertility in the United States. I founded the American Fertility Association, and I supported so many women who are going through in vitro fertilization. And, everybody wanted it all in one cycle because it was expensive and vulnerable and terrible. And I would like, yeah, I get it. And we can't put all our eggs in one basket.
Right.
And oftentimes it was 3 to 5 cycles before a woman got what she wanted. And I've used the same model for connecting women back to their bodies to introduce them to be fully aroused and the deliciousness of a pole dance, an erotic pole dance with their own freaking arousal. All right? And I give them 5 sessions.
And so
and they vary between 90 minutes and an hour, and one is with 2 practitioners.
I mean, it sounds amazing. And this is what I see. So a woman goes, gets this, experiences this mind-blowing, full body, intense, and arousal beyond what she's ever felt. Then she comes home to husband, boyfriend, whatever, partner.
Or no partner.
And they have no clue how to do that, how to recreate that. And how do you, then what?
Well, first of all, we prepare women for going home. So we give them a toolbox.
Okay.
All right. So they go home with a set of embodiment skills. They now know what it feels like. So she's not clueless anymore.
True.
She was clueless when she showed up.
Right.
She was hungry when she showed up. She didn't know what she was hungry for. Now she knows. Okay? So now it's no longer a concept. It's a feeling. So if I know what the feeling is, I'm more likely to be able to replicate it for myself. Correct?
Exactly.
So she leaves knowing the feeling. She also will leave changed. Now, we also don't recommend just one retreat. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Women tend to do between 3 and 6 retreats. Women have the support of a sisterhood. And so you're familiar with sisterhood. So this is a sisterhood of women who know the feeling. They know the words and they've connected it to the feeling. Okay?
Okay.
So they have that support. They have embodiment tools that they can do for themselves. They've been given tools on how to have this with a partner. We even have a male demo. We show women how to give this to a man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Very cool.
So they can learn how to do this for a man We teach them about how to create the space in their life, in their houses, We give them a plan. We give them an accountability plan. And so there's support after. And we do have one couples retreat once a year. And so women who really want to take their partner with them on the journey in a more embodied way, where they're not just, that it's not just them. And I hate the word just, but it isn't just them trying to introduce the work to their partner. They can come to our couples retreat, or they can do a private with me and one of my male colleagues, and we'll work with the couple. I prefer to do that with women who have been to Back to the Body.
Right.
Because it really helps at least to have the women on one page.
Right.
Before we, wrangle these poor dudes.
Yeah.
Who feel like, their partners have been Epicureanly diddled. Professionally diddled. So it takes the pressure off the guys. But, women, when they're in immersion, Margaret, so you're familiar with birth, right? Expansion, contraction.
Mm-hmm.
So over 5 days of doing this work, and the retreats are 6 to 8 days long, the women will have many expansions and contractions.
I bet.
So the hope is that they've had enough expansion and contraction that when they leave, they will be so far ahead of when they began.
Mm.
So even if they contract, and they will contract, Margaret, because that's life.
Right.
They will contract when they go home. That the contraction is not going to take them back to square one, because they've already done that.
Exactly.
So they may take a step or two back, but they're already like 20 steps up.
Right. Right.
So how cool is that?
Have you thought about offering a course for just men?
Yes, and you kind of have to know your brand. And you can't do everything well, Margaret, And so heterosexual women are the most underserved population.
Mm.
So in a recent study, you may be familiar with it, it looked at the orgasm gap. And what we learned, no surprise, is that men, straight men, gay men, bisexual men, had the happiest sex lives. Lesbian women came up a strong second. Bisexual women, not very satisfied. The big losers in the orgasm gap, straight women. Straight women are the most unhappy.
Wow.
So I'm here to take care of the women and support the women. There are people who are doing work alone with men. I'm happy to offer referrals. And then I'm happy to work with the couple.
You're right.
But I'm really here to get women embodied, to get them from, they may have done the first few steps without me. They may have worked with another extraordinary sex educator. They may have gotten to the place of being able to look at pussies and say pussies and dance with the word pussy. I want to take those women and I wanted them actually get them in their frickin' pussy. Okay?
Right.
It's like,
right.
I want you in there, baby. And I want you really to know all the rainbow colors of your full body, because she powers the whole body, Margaret. It is your super, it is the engine, it is the pilot light, it is the oracle. And in another study, do you mind being sex geeky with me?
No, not at all. I love this.
So we're going to be a little sex geeky. There's another really interesting study where they hooked men and women, and you may be familiar. They hooked men and women up to a machine that measured their arousal, the blood flow, the engorgement. So they hooked up female genitals and male genitals and to the mind. And then they showed the participant erotic images. and they were asked to press a button when they felt arousal. Men hit the button every time. They knew when they were aroused.
Yeah.
Women wouldn't hit the button and their pussies were dripping. Okay? They were completely not connected.
Right.
To what their body was feeling. So we can get women to become conscious on a mental level about what turns them on, but we're not connecting them. We're not connecting the dots from our genitals to our hearts, to our minds, to our consciousness. And I think I'm here to do that.
I love it. I mean, even in my practice, I see women every day who are having issues with not only, libido in the bucket. So this is not surprising for me at all from what you see. You see a different side of it. I see the medical side of it. I see women coming to me who are, have zero want of any type of arousal or any sort of sexual encounter. They have zero desire for any of it. It's amazing to me.
Well, they're not being fed anything that's exciting. They're not being fed anything that turns them on, that they feel full of expectation, that arousal means that I probably have to fuck you.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And maybe I don't want that.
Right.
And so the first step is to introduce a woman to the full flower and pleasure and power of her arousal.
Yeah.
And then after that, it all flows. And a woman can go from not being able to literally take her panties off to being in full-blown lingerie.
Right.
3 days later. Because it can happen that fast when you're doing embodiment work.
So what...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
No, I want you to go. You go.
So what is a woman who's listening to this right now and she's like, oh my God, Pamela sounds freaking amazing. But, for one reason or another, cannot go to your workshop, whatever, they're sold out. They can't afford it. They can't get off work, whatever it is. How can they start maybe doing something for themselves at home if they don't have your workshop right now in their life?
Well, the first, a couple of things. And I don't mean for them to sound self-serving, but follow me on Facebook. I put a lot of writing, as you know, Margaret, on Facebook. There's a lot of free content on my website at backtothebody.org. Sign up for the newsletter. We do free talks. There is something called Lotus Lift Meditation. Google it. I've got a YouTube on it. It was recently featured in O Magazine. It's an arousal meditation. It's super simple. They can do it at home. It's one of the practices I teach. So, find Pamela Madsen on YouTube, put in Lotus Lift Meditation, or on Facebook. I might lead one completely on a Facebook Live. So if they go to my page and Google Pamela Madsen Lotus Lift Meditation or Arousal, they'll find it. I write a lot for the Huffington Post and Psychology Today. There are articles. I give a tremendous amount of free content. And we have different kinds of immersions. We have beginner immersions that are only 4 days long, and they get 2 sessions. And I have weekend workshops where they're not getting on the table, but they're learning a lot of the tools and the philosophy. Those are like $500. People fly in from internationally to attend those workshops. Don't say my no for me. If you want to attend something and you think you can't afford it or you don't understand, well, ask me. Sign up for a free consult. We do backbends to get women to come to retreats.
Yeah.
You know that, Margaret. I've whispered in your ear. I've tried to support you to get in there, right?
I know. You have.
Baby. I want women in. And there's a reason why we have an outstanding, they'll see so many sold out retreats when they go to my website.
Yeah.
Some women plan a full year and do an extended payment plan to get there. And keep watching it. They get on the newsletter, they'll see the smaller events being announced. They're all over the country. They're in New York, New Jersey, California. And what I'll say about obstacles, when women say, well, I don't have the time. I'm too busy. I don't have childcare. I've got to get coverage. You know what? If people want something bad enough, Margaret, they figure it out.
Yeah.
They figure it out. So if you decide that you're a woman and you want this for yourself, that you're not going to take this to your grave, that you're not going to have a life of always yearning and wondering and looking at that sign at Katz's Deli that says, I'll have what she's having, and always being in the place of saying that but not having it, well, then the choice is yours. You can have it. I swear to God, you can have it. We do, we see about 200 women a year, Margaret, at our retreats. This year, I think we've opened it up more. There'll be about 250 women. These women come from every kind of social economic bracket and religious background. I have very religious Muslims who come, and very religious Catholics and Jews and everybody else in between. 17% of our women make under $50,000 a year. I know the demographics because there's a study in place now. There's an IRB study being conducted by Widener University, which is the only university, I think, in the United States that offers a PhD program in sexuality. And they've been so interested in what we're doing at Back to the Body that they offered to do a study. So this isn't like a paid study. This isn't a pharmaceutical study, where a drug company is supporting it. This is a college, a university.
Right.
And so it's IRB approved, and they're doing pre and post surveys and interviews of the women. And they're looking at how does a woman's relationship with her arousal change? They're looking at how women are healing trauma in their bodies. They're looking at a woman's genital relationship. Like, how does she feel about her genitals before and after the retreat? How do they feel about their body, their self-image? What was their experience of sisterhood? How did their relationships with other women change? What about their sexual initiative? Did that change? Are they more able to flirt? Are they more able to speak their desire? So they're looking at all of these like really important pillars. And that's why I know the demographics. Otherwise, I would never know that 17% of the women make under $50,000 a year. That's not a ton of money, Margaret.
Right.
And these women are affording the retreats.
Right.
And so don't tell me money. Don't tell me time. Tell me your desire. And if it's big enough, we'll move the obstacle. Do you know about the erotic equation, Margaret?
The erotic equation? No.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Let me tell you. So this is the erotic equation. Prohibition plus obstacle plus yearning equals desire. So, if you're talking about your life, where's the prohibition? Where's the obstacle? Where's the yearning? That's where you'll go. That's where the desire is. So I hope when women think about coming back to the body, if the first three things they feel is, oh my God, who would do that? Or I shouldn't do that. And they feel prohibition. I shouldn't be spending that money on myself. Or what would the neighbors think? Or how would I tell my husband? Or,
right.
Who does that? Who does that? I would put a great big blue check. Yes! Prohibition! Got it! Then I hear obstacle. Well, I've taken too much. I've already taken vacation. I don't have the time off. I don't know that I can have the coverage for the children. You know, I hear obstacle. Money, right? Great. Check. Then I hear, oh my God, what would it be like to have that? Could I have that in my body? Could I have this? There's my yearning. Well, then I know you have the desire and you'll get there.
Yeah.
And you will solve the erotic equation of your own life in every way. And by the way, that's a great equation to just have a sexy life.
That's true.
Find the obstacles. Find the prohibition. Feel the yearning. You'll have a life of desire.
So how can people find you? Tell us all the places.
Sure. Well, back to the body, and it's all spelled out. There's no numerals. Back to thebody.org is the place where you will find me. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm the Pamela Madsen, which sounds awfully pompous, but somebody else was Pamela Madsen. So I had to be the Pamela Madsen. And they can find me on Facebook. I'm huge on Facebook. I'm trying to be huger on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm verified back in the day. And they can find my book, Shameless, on Amazon. It was published by Rodale in 2011. It's on Kindle, and it's available on Amazon now. So they can read my story and find my articles on the Huffington Post and Psychology Today, and know that Back to the Body is for all women. This work is for all women. I have a 20-year-old coming with me to Scotland, and I have a woman in her 70s coming with me to Iceland. So it's not about your age. You don't have to lose 10 pounds. It's not about your body size.
Right.
You have skinny women. We have curvy women. We have fat women. It's not about your economics. It's not about your profession. We have everything. It's not about your marital status. Single, divorced, married. We have all the women. So what we have? We have smart women, Margaret.
Yeah,
we have empowered women. We have women who are tired of waiting. We are women who have said, I have done all these things and I'm not there yet. And I'm going to get there. And they do it. We just supply the container.
Well, I love what you're doing. And
Thank
I've
you.
just been hearing countless raves about your workshops. And I would love to be, and I know Iceland just didn't come at a right time for me. So I'll definitely be looking. I was looking at your calendar of
There's
events.
always another retreat, Margaret. And they're always being posted. So we do 12 a year.
Oh, amazing.
There are 12 retreats a year plus special events.
Great.
So if you get on the newsletter, if you sign up for our newsletter, you'll get notified before everybody else does.
Okay.
And right now we have, as you know, one spot open in Iceland, where we'll be taking 12 women to the north. We have a retreat in Key West that has some openings right after Thanksgiving. And we have a retreat in Vegas in January, which is going to be like the ultimate girl party. So there are retreats right now that do have openings. And so don't get discouraged by the sold out signs. Just look ahead in the calendar and keep looking because they keep coming. My graduates are greedy, Margaret. So my graduates tend to take things very quickly.
Yeah.
Because they want more and they want to keep going.
Right.
So plan ahead, grab a spot, put down your deposit, and we'll work out a payment plan. We just want to get women, we want to get them started.
Yes. And one of the things that I've also heard about you personally is that when women experience what they experience, that you're right there and you are kind of like a mama bear type of
That's exactly what they call me.
Okay.
I've been called Mama Bear, and I've been called the Reverend Mother, and they're the bad habits, which cracks me up.
And you know what? I appreciate that because I'm part of a sisterhood community currently, and you know, there are times when there are certain mentors that they will teach, they'll be on stage and they'll do their thing and they'll love you up right there. But after that, it's sort of like hands off. You know, there's no more, I don't want to use the word intimacy.
Aftercare.
Right. And
yeah. So pack your own aftercare. I get it. So yeah, I'm around, and I do have other female coordinators who work with me. But I'm around. I'm visible. I'm sometimes there 24/7. Sometimes I'm in and out, but I'm there.
Yeah.
And I'm accessible, and the women can find me, and that's important to me because this kind of work is delicate. It's delicate, and it's a bit boutique-y, right, Margaret? I can only do a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
And but the women are becoming almost I'm afraid I'm going to mispronounce the word evangelical about it.
Right.
Where I used to do 6 retreats a year, and because the women have become so evangelical about the work and wanting their friends to do it, that I've literally doubled in size. Wow. in a year. Amazing. Doubled in size. And so it's really important to me to be able to keep this feeling, and for the women to know that I'm holding the container for them, for the women to know that I'm waiting for them to hold them, and that I'm on the journey with them. And please don't guru me, because I'm not a guru. Right. I'm not, there's top down, and I'm not a top down teacher. And that's just not who I am. And I mentioned these other tools for women. I talked about tantra and oming, and there's other tools, and I'm not against them. I think they all have their place.
Right.
I just want to get women off their bloody backs, and I want to get women off the clock. I want to get women not about a spot, a touch, a thing. I want to permission them into their full technicolor bodies. And I want them to stop talking about it.
Right.
I want them to do it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Margaret.
So amazing. You're amazing. Your work is just revolutionary, and I cannot wait to experience it. One of these like a long weekend, a 4-day immersion sounds perfect for me. And I appreciate you.
June.
Yes.
June in New York, we'll have the opening, which is a 4-day mini intro. I'm going to be doing a 1-day event where people will be able to see a demo in Brooklyn in this September. Right now it's called the Elixir, and it's not online yet. Oh. So there are going to be opportunities to press with me. Get on my newsletter. Please go to backtothebody.org. Get on the newsletter. You'll get the events. Read my book, Shameless. It's me, 42, starting out, figuring this out. It's funny as heck. So it's not where I am now, but it's where I was. It will give you an idea of why I got here.
Right.
And again, you can find that on Amazon. Margaret, I can't wait to see your beautiful face in person again. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. And I love, just continue what you're doing. It's just, I'm loving all of the responses from the women that I hear that you've worked with.
Terrific. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you, but I am ready to book my next retreat with Pamela. I mean, come on. If this conversation between me and her was not hot and heavy enough for you, you need to go to one of her retreats. I mean, listen, when I go, trust me, you're going to be the first to hear about it. So if you want to learn more about Pamela and Back to the Body, head on over to margaretromero.com/episode 84 and get all the details there, as well as pick up her book, Shameless. And I am back next week with another Women's Wednesday, so hang tight for that. And Wisdom for the Weekend is back this week, and I will be posting those twice a month, every other Friday. And that's all for now. So much love. Thank you so much for listening this week, wherever you are in the world. Sending you much love and big hugs. Bye for now.